Good morning, class 4. So, today we're gonna start with our new chapter named Soil. Okay, so before we begin with this one, we're gonna learn in this chapter is the process how the soil is formed and different types of soils and what is soil erosion, various causes of soil erosion. Okay, so these are some of the words given. Let's solve this crossword puzzles. Okay, so look at the following words related to the soil in the word maze below: weathering, silt, clay, sand, humus, mineral, loam, topsoil, bedrock, and erosion. So, as you can see, I have already solved this crossword puzzle. Okay, the first one, weathering, is on the uh, down. You have to uh, write like this. If possible, you have to give numbers as well. So, for weathering, as you can see on my left hand side, okay, I have given number 1 for weathering, and then silt, which is in a straight position. See, is on a straight position, and then clay, which is also in a straight position. Then sand, I have given number 4 on the top of that sand. Okay, then humus is in downward position. Then minerals, then loam, which is in a upward position from right hand side, and then topsoil, which is also in straight position, bedrock, and erosion. So these are some of the words which we're gonna come across while going through this chapter. So then we have the first topic is formation of soil, how the soil is formed. Okay, you just need to remember this. Okay, when the big rock are broken down by wind and water into smaller pieces. Okay, when the when the big rock is broken down into smaller pieces with the help of wind and water till we get the fine powder, this process is called weathering. So the whole process of from becoming from rock till to the fine powder is called weathering. So it's not that when rock it's when there is a big rock and suddenly it becomes uh, suddenly it becomes a soil. It's not that simple. It takes years. It almost takes thousands of years to convert it into first into broken down into smaller pieces, then it will further broken down into fine powder of mixture of dead plant and animal, which we are also called humus. Okay, so this is the process where this process is called weathering. And then whenever the fine powder known as sand mixes with the remain of dead plants and animal called humus and minerals, soil is formed. So only after that we get the fine powder of mixture of dead plants and animal and mineral also, which is called soil. Thus soil is defined as a top layer of the earth's surface which consists of sand, remains of dead plants and animals, and mineral with some amount of water and air in it. So, so this is the definition of soil which you need to remember. Okay, it is the topmost layer of the earth's surface, and then it contains uh, or you can say it is a mixture of both dead plant and animal and some minerals which contains some amount of water and animal as well, sorry, water and air as well. Then why it is important? Soil is very important for life on earth. Plants mostly grow in soil. As you can see, the most of the trees and small grasses and all, these are these cannot be grown without the help of soil. So it is important for them to sustain in life. Okay, then they produce food and give out oxygen. They also needed by humans and animals to live, stay alive. And then soil is home to many insects and animals. So I think soil can produce food. Okay, it gives oxygen needed by human, and it is home for many insects and animals. This is how soil is important for our life on earth. Okay, moving on. And then we have next composition of soil. So soil is basically a composition of these three things, okay, which we call it sand, silt and clay. So soil is made up of three different types of particles, that is sand, silt and clay. Sand, these are the largest soil particle, and then silt, these particles are smaller than sand particles but bigger than clay particles. These are the smallest soil particles. So what I'm telling here is, when you look closer to any kind of soil, you can see the difference. You can see there is a they are not similar in size. Okay, there are some smaller size as well, and then there are bigger size. So when there is a smallest size, we call it clay, and we have mixture of both smaller and bigger size, which is called silt, and the largest soil particles we call it sand. So other than this, soil also contains small stones and pebbles. Okay, these are also sand soil particles called gravel, minerals and humus. Okay, soil also contains some amount of air and water. So it also contains some amount of water and air, that we can prove by some experiment. Okay, so moving on. Then we have types of soil. So there are basically three types of soil depending on upon the amount of soil particles present in it. They are sandy, clay and loamy soil. So these these three type of soils, okay, based on their uh, amount of particle present in it, we can categorize it accordingly. So the first one is sandy soil. This soil has a greater proportion of sand particles. Sandy soil feels rough and gritty, and it's non-sticky when wet. So by the definition itself, you can you will you know that it is not rough. Okay, it feels rough and gritty. Okay, and it's also non-sticky when it's wet. It does not hold much water and drains most of it. So this is the definition for sandy soil. Okay, then we have clay soil. This soil has a greater proportion of clay particles. Clay soils feel smooth when dry and lumpy and sticky when wet. So then we have third type, which is loamy soil. This soil has a almost the same amount of sand, clay and silt. Loamy soil is the best soil for growing plants. It is rich in nutrients and humus and allows water to pass through easily. So among these three types of soil, the loamy soil is the best one to grow any kinds of plant, okay, and which is also rich in nutrients and allow water to pass through easily. Moving on. So the next topic is soil profile. Soil profile refers to the layers of soil in the picture. These layers have been named A, B and C, as you can see in your textbook, okay. The layers of soil has been divided into three, A, B and C, okay. The A is the top soil, is the uppermost layer of soil and contains fine particles of sand, clay and humus, water and air. So this is the topmost layer, okay, or the uppermost layer of soil, which contains fine particles and many other. Then we have second B, which is called subsoil. It is a middle layer of soil and present below the topsoil and contains broken pieces of rocks. So these two layers, okay, the fine particles we can find in the topmost layer, and when we can find broken pieces of rock in the subsoil, which is middle layer of the soil. Then we have C, which is also called bedrock. It is the bottom layer of soil and it's quite deep inside the earth, and it has large pieces of rocks. So these are some of the three layers of soil, okay, which we have to remember, okay. Moving on. So what is soil erosion? Topsoil is a fertile because of rich in humus, okay. Strong winds and water washed away the loose topsoil. The removal of fertile topsoil by the action of wind and water is called erosion. Strong winds, heavy rainfall and cutting down of trees increase the soil erosion. So what does it mean is, with the topsoil, which is very fertile and which is very rich in humus, okay, is being washed away by the wind and some water, and the removal of topsoil by wind and water is called soil erosion. And soil erosion occurs when strong wind, heavy rainfall and cutting down some trees. This may be the reason why soil erosion might be happening, okay. So this is the definition for soil erosion. Moving on. So let's remember questions. We have to circle the odd one, okay. The first one is wind, water, weathering and humus. Obviously humus is not out of the context, so we have to circle this thing, okay. Then we have sand, humus, silt and clay. So silt is the odd one here. Then we have iron, potassium, calcium and gravel. So gravel is the odd one. Then sandy, iron, clay and loamy. So iron is the odd one here. Then question 5, topsoil, erosion, bedrock and subsoil. We have to circle erosion. Moving on. The next topic we have is soil erosion. So what is soil erosion? Plant gets most of their nutrients from topsoil, as we have already discussed, okay. The protection of soil from erosion is called soil conservation. There are certain steps that can be taken to conserve the soil. So the protection of the soil from erosion is known as conservation. So these are some of the steps that needs to be followed. So more number of trees should be planted to replace the ones that were cut down, okay. and trees and bushes should be planted in open land. This practice not allow the wind blow from full force and take away the topsoil. Flowing water can easily be washed away lots of topsoil. Dams should be built across river to prevent floods. So the more plants to be planted, so in place of trees, those are cut, those trees which are cut down, okay. And then trees and bushes needs to be also planted in open lands, okay, which allow the to protect from wind. And then dams and flowing water must be taken into consideration, so that flood has been flood so that in order to prevent the flood or some kind of water flowing to protect the plant. So that's all for now. We're gonna do our exercise in the next class. Thank you.